Well, yeah, but you have to go ahead and put them. It had me screw them onto the structure already,
Yep.
and then like the tenth step
Hmm.
has me screwing boards onto these runners. It's almost asking me like, okay, now you're going to take them off now. It's
Well,
making no sense.
wasn't there a second set of rails for the drawers?
Well, there is just two rails on each side.
Okay, so was
The whole thing is screwy. This part
no
is screwy.
rails. Usually, you have a rail on the structure, and then you would have a rail on the draw. So what would happen?
No, there's no rail on the drawer at all.
Oh,
No, it's on both sides. And you're supposed to screw it to the and it's a well oiled little mechanism actually.
wow, well, that's a different type then.
But I don't know why it's I hate it. I hate this crap.
Yeah, well,
I really do. I
yeah,
hate putting stuff together because there's one of the things in the instructions, and I read them thoroughly, and it said you'll have extra parts in case something breaks or whatever. Well, actually, there were two screws they didn't send me at all.
oh boy, yeah,
So
that's what happens with those packaged kits.
yeah,
I mean, I used to buy those. I mean, there's a cheap way to get some furniture. You don't have to pay for
well,
it.
it's the table.
Yeah,
It's just a table
uh,
that Melissa wants to use as like a coffee bar kind of thing.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's all that it is. And I got so frustrated by 11:30 last night. I was like, oh, screw this. I was like, I'm
Yeah,
out of here. I'm outie.
yeah,
I didn't even want to deal with it anymore.
yeah. That's why a lot of times now I'll rather just buy the whole thing put together. you know.
The table obviously identifies as male.
Yeah, yeah. I can.
Hey, you never know.
You never know.
So what do you think about this the whole thing? Really, the like I told you, somebody asked me. This kid asked me literally, "What are my pronouns?"
I tell them it's none of your business. I mean, this is ridiculous.
I just looked at him. I said he was a teenager, and I said, "What do you want him to be?" I don't really care, I mean,
It's like, come on. It's
well, I don't. And then he said to me, he goes, "Well, I don't want to go ahead and offend you by addressing you in a way that you do not appreciate."
well, I'll tell you, if you don't like being called Mike, I mean, come on, give me a break.
Right? And I said,
You would have let me know. You'd say, "Oh no, my name's not Mike. It's Michelle."
No, no, no,
Okay.
it wasn't even about name. I said Mike, and I said I'm a dude. I said, that's it. Right, but what gender are you, or how do you identify? I'm like, what?
That's what we've come to.
What do I look like?
That's ridiculous.
Do I have lipstick on? No. Am I wearing a skirt? No. I do not identify as anything under the other but I'm just a dude.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm a guy.
Yeah.
I said I'm 55. I don't care. I don't have a pronoun.
Right. No, I hear you. Yeah. Speaking of that, I think another state, I don't know what state it was, just told males they can't play in girl sports. There's another state that's put a ruling in.
Even if they identify as
Yep,
females.
told them not playing no girl sports, guys.
You know what? Look, I don't care who plays what. I honestly don't. I mean, I'm all for, the girls if they want to be in on the wrestling team, they want to be on the football team, they want to be on whatever. As far as equality is concerned, I have a problem when boys can't play like volleyball, even if they identify as female or whatever. However, the tricky part comes in this. And this is the thing that you got to be really careful on, is that people that are born male,
Mhm.
they are, I mean, what's the best way to put it? I don't want to say this without it's going to come out wrong no matter what I say. But physically, males are built larger and stronger.
Correct.
Predominantly.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying,
I
that
know.
there are not women out there that are stronger than men, because there are.
Yes, there are.
However, if we want equality, you can't have it both ways. I don't think a high school boy who was born a male should be running track
Against
and against other females.
yes,
Because I do think that that is an inequality.
right.
Not because women aren't as good or anything like that, but genetically,
No, you're right. You got a good
you
point.
know, you got to be careful on that because you
Yep.
don't, because of course, you're going to have somebody going, well, they should be able to do this and they shouldn't be able to do that. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
Can't have hot without cold.
Right.
Can't have good without bad. Can't have male without females.
Right.
Females without males. It just is. And then they go around and say, well, there's no gender. Okay. Then what is it? There's a distinct physical and genetic difference between people that were born with a penis and people that were born with a vagina.
Yeah. There's a difference.
No, those aren't nasty words. That is human anatomy. That
Oh,
is
you
just
hear
it.
You hear it a lot today.
You do.
Yeah, which you never really heard.
But it is just different.
It is different. Yeah.
So how do you approach that, Paul? You being a man of the world and have been around through many generations. How do you approach that?
It is. I think we're going way off. I mean, come on,
Off the rails?
off the rails. And unfortunately, it's all these different groups that are forcing us to do that.
Okay.
You know,
I would love to know what people think. If anybody has any comments, to type them in the board, or even give us a call at 860-591-1054.
it's getting crazy. I mean,
You know,
can you imagine?
all comments are welcome as long as they're respectful of other people. Don't go off on a rant, like, start swearing and dropping F-bombs and stuff like that, because you'll get boomed right off the bat. But seriously,
Yeah.
what is it that is the big to-do? My whole life, there are girls and there are boys. Now, in the last 5 years, 10 years, nope. We're all just 9 non-binary people.
Yeah. I just think it's all these different organizations that looking for become known, which is okay. I don't have a problem with that, but that doesn't mean that everything else has to change. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If you want to be considered a transgender, that's fine. I mean, that's up to you, but that doesn't mean that I have to be identified as an it or a him or a her.
Yeah, I don't care if anybody is
I don't give a
transgender or
I don't
not.
really
That's
care.
their business.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we all look at trans. I mean, some of them, yeah, they feel should be born of the opposite sex, which is okay. Yeah, that's fine. But when you have some guys could use it to be a little bit weird and trying to go into girls' bathroom because I'm a transgender.
Yeah, but now they have non-gender specific bathrooms.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I don't want my 14-year-old daughter walking in while there's some 18-year-old boy in there. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right.
There could be a danger associated with
there
that.
could, because there are some wackos out there. We all know that. There are wackos.
Now let me ask you a question. Because now you should be able to answer this, because we're all non-binary. There's no such thing as gender. Right. There's nothing. Okay. Yeah. So let's say you, Paul, identify as a female. Okay. And you walked into a non-gender specific bathroom, and now you're 12 years old. So we've gone all past everything. No, there's no genders. There's no male. There's no female. You walk in, you're 12 years old. There's a 19-year-old genetically born female, but there's no gender. How uncomfortable do you feel?
Well, now I would feel uncomfortable. But
you're not supposed to.
I know, but if this goes on for the next 4 or 5 years, the uncomfortable is gone.
For 20 or 30 years.
It's gone.
Right.
It's going to be an everyday thing. There's going to be no difference if you walk in there and there's a 40-year-old woman and a 16-year-old guy. Ain't going to make a bit of difference.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it's become. Right now, we're just starting to get there. And right now, we feel very uncomfortable. But if they keep going the way they are, guess what? It's going to be common, just like every day, you know.
But how
So
do you feel about that personally? Like if that was going on right now, you're okay. So now let's go back
I
to
would feel very uncomfortable.
okay. All right.
I felt very uncomfortable when I ended up going into a nudist camp one day. No, because
no, I understand.
but
I
I was very
understand.
uncomfortable because I was doing patrolling for storm duty
Mhm.
and happened to go into a nudist camp.
Yeah.
And people are walking around, and I was very embarrassed. I mean, I was looking at them right straight in the eyeballs. I was not looking up. I was not looking down. I mean, and they're going, hey, I was like, wow, but that's the way I felt,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would feel the same way if I was in a bathroom situation, the same thing. But that's the way we were born over the years. This is the way we were raised. But the generation today, which is much younger, is
Right.
changing. So I would think 5 to 10 years from now, if it keeps going the way it is, it's going to be nothing.
So we'd love to know your thoughts. If you are watching on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever social media platform that you use and that you listen to. Cindy says, Paul hit it on the head. Kids are growing up with this being the norm, and it won't be a quote unquote thing. And then she types in any mo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes on to say, you could say the same issue with a lesbian in the bathroom with our daughters, but we do not.
Right.
And that is true.
Yeah. But again, it doesn't mean
But see, that doesn't mean the like, for example, the lesbian identifies as a male.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because she's a lesbian doesn't mean, she could still identify as a female.
Yeah.
Or what are her pronouns? She, her.
Yeah. But even a lesbian get them all worse. But not, let's face it, but not lesbians
You
would
gotta be
pick on a young.
careful of that, bro.
No. But unless the lesbian was a wacko like some guys are wackos, the gay guys, same thing, but they pick on young kids.
Don't say wacko.
Oh, I can't say that.
You can't say wacko, especially because now you're making fun of gays and lesbians.
Well, no, not really.
Now, see, that's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point. You may not be, but how insensitive does that sound to the person that is very, very close to their chest and how they want to be viewed.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Laura has a question here. Ask yourself, well, more of a statement, but ask yourselves, why do you feel uncomfortable with being in those situations? How were you raised and what have you been exposed to? How were you taught to deal with these feelings about these things? Now we're in freaking therapy. Don't edit yourself.
It's my age. I mean, I've always considered to be modest and your respect. That's just the way I am because the way I was raised.
Ken Willie has a comment for you, geez. Right? And he says Paul is canceled. Paul Ash has been canceled.
Okay, Willie.
Let's go back to Laura's for a minute. And said, how were you? Did you feel when you were raised? What you were exposed to? These are all things that really are a part of your makeup today. Yeah. You grew up a certain way.
Yeah.
Your parents were a certain way.
Right.
Their parents were a certain way. They had certain beliefs, right?
Right.
Okay. Who's changing it?
Yeah. It's because a lot of the.
But who's right? Is it to say the generation to tell us we were wrong?
They shouldn't be telling we're wrong. I mean, it was just the way we grew up, and now they're growing up, and if they want to do it, that's fine. I don't care. But don't tell me I'm wrong.
So here's what I think. I think the people out there that are worried about insensitivity need to understand that. No, hold on. That's not the right way to put it. I think the people that are concerned with insensitivity, meaning people that are agree with cancel culture, need to be sensitive to the way people were grown up, were raised before them.
Right.
So the people that are insensitive aren't showing a lot of sensitivity.
Right.
Or if they're uber sensitive, they don't understand why someone is insensitive. So I think it all starts with understanding. That's just my uneducated decision.
Mhm.
What do you think? I mean,
Yeah, you're
point
right.
counterpoint.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Again, we'll put it up there. Paul is getting canceled. It's a hard mental switch to make for those of us who identify traditionally. I can't imagine that I would feel like if my mind/emotions didn't match my physical body. Now that's a good point.
Yeah.
I am the father of a gay daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She identifies as female.
Yeah.
Yet her girlfriend, who's not a girlfriend anymore, is now a boyfriend because he identifies as as male.
Oh. Wow.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Cindy, has, it's not for me to talk about, but she has a family member as well.
Yeah.
That has a different lifestyle, I guess. I don't want to say because it's not for me to say. Alicia says, here's my take. Yes, there are genders. There has to be in order to procreate. Bing. I agree.
Yeah.
What is inside people's minds doesn't make that distinction. Otherwise, people who think they're Napoleon or Jesus would be Napoleon or Jesus. Surgery is needed to change a gender being the operative word.
Yeah. Which some people go through. Some people go through surgery.
They do.
Yeah.
And I don't give a crap if they do.
I don't care.
It doesn't make any difference to me. Your own person is your own person. Why don't we just call them humans? Why don't we just call them people? Why do we have to do she, him, her, him? Screw that shit. Just go ahead and call them people. My daughter said to me yesterday, because her friend or girlfriend, her name is Zen. Wonderful little girl. I love her to death. She's a sweetie pie. Okay. But she is not a she anymore. She now identifies as a he. Do I care? No. Because Zen is a person.
Right.
So I said to my daughter, I said, so are you gay now? Or I said, or what are you now? Because Zen now identifies as a boy.
Yeah.
She goes, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. I said, okay. I said, why don't you just call Zen a human? I'll show you the text message.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said to the kid.
Yeah.
Why don't you I said, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
All of this crap about she, her, I'm going to get it again. She, him, it, they, whatever. I don't care. It makes no difference at all. Just be people. Just be people and enjoy one another. Paul, I don't care if you have a penis or a vagina. I don't care. I enjoy your company, no matter what gender you are.
Okay.
You're smiling. I don't
Well,
even want to know.
okay. Now, see, now you're a 50-year-old and now you have your opinion.
Huh?
See, that's your opinion as a 50-year-old.
55-year-old.
Now,
Thank you. I identify as 55.
Let's go back down. Let's talk into some that are 15,
But
18.
Okay, I get that.
Okay.
But they also have to be more sensitive to what we grew up as. We can't just sit here and drop our drawers and say, oh, you're right, little 17-year-old, because you've been around the world so long. I got it. You know what? No, don't have any respect for me or my opinion. No, flip me off. Do whatever you want. You live in your own cancel culture world. We have to sit down and play dead master mix bunny while they go ahead and walk around and say, I'm the boss, bitch.
And that's exactly
that's the problem.
That's the problem. Yes, that is the problem. Who do you think is canceling all this freaking culture?
There has to be more understanding between not just the genders, but the generations.
Right.
That's the problem.
That is the problem. Yeah.
God, am I going off on a rant today?
I guess you are. And we had nothing to talk about.
Oh, we got plenty to talk about. Ken goes on to say it's partly learned behavior and more, in my opinion, your ability for free thinking. My father was quote unquote old school, where he would make statements that today would not be acceptable.
Of course not.
Exactly. Those were his beliefs in another time. Personally, I don't have an issue with people being who they are. It doesn't affect me. Again, I agree. That said, if anyone follows my child into any restroom or some BS, then we have a whole other conversation.
Oh, there you go. Because again, what making him think that is because there are individuals out there that take advantage of
Yeah.
kids. Now, what if it is a person who really relates to being a transgender and has no
I
intention?
don't care.
I know it,
I
but
don't care if you wear. I don't care if you wear wingtips or sneakers. I give a crap.
I know.
None of that matters to me, Paul. Period. And I think a lot of people in our generation, what the generation or the two generations before us,
Yeah,
they don't understand that we don't care.
right.
We really don't care. Yet you're trying to shove things down our throats, thinking that we're insensitive. No, you're the one that's
No,
insensitive.
you're absolutely
Because if we
right.
don't change to what you think, or at least express what you think, then we are boomers or whatever.
Right. Well, that's where it's coming down to the point where you cannot voice your opinion against somebody else. This is why we're in the situation we are today. If somebody makes a comment against something that you don't like, right
Yeah.
away you become very defensive, and that person is no good. That's what this world has
Yeah.
come to. You know,
I live, let's take the conversation off gender for a minute.
yeah,
Okay. I live in a situation where it's a mixed family.
sure,
Okay.
yeah,
My girlfriend has 3 kids. I have 3 kids. So, there's a little bit of mixing
sure,
going on there.
sure,
I live with her children.
yeah,
Okay. One said to me one day, because we had some disagreements on some stuff, said, you don't understand. I was told, he goes, you do not understand our family dynamic. And I said, your family. I said, so what are you telling me? Well, you have to understand our family dynamic. Not once did this under 18-year-old child say, I have to understand your family dynamic too.
no, it's all one way.
Yeah. So I said, so what you're trying to do is you're trying to change me or to convince me to change to your family dynamic, which I may or may not agree with.
Hmm.
So who's being insensitive?
It's unfortunately that's just the way some of the other,
Where it goes back to entitlement.
well, that's the way the generation is today. They're figure they're entitled to everything because down through the generations, that's exactly what's happened. We weren't giving a lot of stuff, so we gave our kids some stuff, and then you were giving some stuff, and you're giving your kids some stuff.
Yeah.
So the whole entitlement thing has come down to the various generations because don't forget the generations that of course I was not there, but my parents were part of the
Mm-hmm.
depression. They didn't have anything. So what ended up happening? They wanted us to have stuff. So we got stuff. So what did we do? We gave our kids stuff because we wanted them to have a better life. And it goes on and on and on and on. So now all the young kids, I mean, young kids today, oh yeah, I'll buy you a phone, I'll buy you a car, I'll do this for you. How many parents
Right.
do that? And the kid's not even just 16, 17 years old. The kid's driving around in a fairly new car. I mean, in the old days, we had to buy our own goddamn car. We had to work
Yeah.
for it.
I
But
mine too.
that's what's happened. You know,
Respect. Elaine says there's respect individuals by using the pronouns they ask you to. Transgender children take their own lives because their family members continue to misgender them. If your child says, I am he or she, respect that and use those pronouns. We are not talking about that. We're talking about that we do respect that.
right?
I'm saying that I don't really have pronouns because I didn't grow up in that generation.
Right.
Again, and Elaine also understand too that I had said earlier that I have a daughter that's gay. She's gay. She identifies as a female. Okay. Her now boyfriend or was a girl now identifies as a boy. It gets so confusing. I do respect that. The problem is that generation doesn't respect that we identify or say whatever the hell we want to. It goes both ways. It can't be just one way. It can't be, Gloria Steinem running around going, I am woman, hear me roar, kicked his ass right out the door. It doesn't matter. You identify who you identify, but there has to be understanding between not male and female, but generation to generation. And I do not think that the younger generation understands that because they're not mature enough to understand it yet.
Right.
They haven't lived enough.
Right. I
Does
agree. I agree with you. Yeah.
Does that make sense, Elaine? I mean, I'm not trying to knock you down because you're right. I do respect anybody else on who they want, but if I don't require a pronoun, don't shove it down my throat.
What are these kids gonna do? Walk up to their grandmother and say, "Hey, her, what are you doing, her? How you doing today, her?"
I don't know.
Grandmother's gonna look at her. Who the hell are you calling her?
What would you like? Some pie?
I mean, come on.
I don't know, Grandma. You're canceled.
I don't know.
Ken, you just said it. You just made it. Ken wins the internet today. Your opinions and thoughts don't matter. Just conform, boomer. True.
I don't care. Call me a boomer all you want. I'm not even a boomer. You're a boomer. I'm not a boomer.
I'm not a boomer. I missed it.
I missed it.
So did I.
I'm before the boomer.
And I didn't.
So he ain't talking to me.
No, I'm not a boomer either. I missed it by over a year.
Yeah, not a boomer.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Cindy says it's very simple. As my daughter says, just use their name.
Right.
Cindy wins the internet as well.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care who says, identify me by my pronoun. Yeah. Okay. But if I don't want to, don't tell me I need to.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when you get my age, you forget names. So the best thing to you to call, what's your name, him?
Good morning, Joanne McCoy. Thanks for joining in. Boy, have you walked into a buzzsaw. Yeah, no one gets mad if you call them by their name.
Correct.
Unless they identify as a different name.
Well, then they say, excuse me, my name is so-and-so. It's as simple
as
that.
That's true.
That's all they got to say.
What if it was changed midstream?
Right. If I'm not James, then I'm Nor, and I'm Jamie.
Today you're fine. James, tomorrow you're Lori. I mean,
whatever. I don't really care.
I don't either. And I think that's the big difference. I think that's one of the big differences is that adults, maybe 40 and up, or even 30, 35 and up.
Yeah.
Let's just say people that have been around.
Yeah. I mean,
they understand, that you can be who you are. And as long as you're okay with yourself, does anything else really matter?
No, you're right.
Are you the whole pronoun thing? Is this self-acceptance or is this pack acceptance?
Yeah. I don't know. It's the way of the future, I guess. So.
Joanne says, I'm trying to exactly figure out what the question is. It just woke up. Joanne, what we're talking about this morning, and if anybody else that is just joining in right now, we're talking about pronouns. Kids and young adults and are now asking people, what are your pronouns? Are you she, her, him, he? Whatever. It all started with somebody asking me, a young child asking me, teen, asking me what my pronouns were. I don't care. I don't know what my pronouns are. That's the difference. There has to be that sensitivity between generations. And I don't think there is. I think the younger generation, I want to say 18 to 30, 18 to 35, are very insensitive about people that have beliefs that are older than them.
That's because that's the way they're being taught.
But they are damn well concerned about you being sensitive to their needs
Correct.
and how, and and they want to they want to be perceived a certain way,
Yeah.
but they don't have to accept your way.
Right.
And that's what bothers me.
Bothers me too.
I don't have a problem with anything else.
They talk about having equality for everything.
Right.
They want everybody wants to be, have equality. Transgenders want equality. Gays and lesbians want equality. That's fine. But you got.
But they are equal. So what?
Right. So
how they live their life doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I don't really care. Not affected me at all.
I was raised by two lesbians, for Christ's sakes. Do you think I care? No.
So for them to be insensitive to, they're going to learn that, you just can't be, if you go on that way, they got a rude awakening coming, because if they're going to grow up with it being insensitive like that, they're going to have a lot of issues as they get older.
Yeah, but they're coming from a generation that predominantly thinks that way. So are they really going to have?
Can you imagine what the generation following? There's going to be a generation following them that may have a different perspective. They may say, who the hell knows what the next generation's going to be like. We don't know that.
Alicia says, everything these days is so in your face. Our generation didn't discuss nor care.
That's right. We didn't.
No, but not about this. I think we cared. I think we cared about different things. Like how we're going to put food on the plate for our families.
Which this generation.
Come out for dinner now.
See, they don't care about that because they know that there's going to be food on the table. They know that.
That's an entirely different subject. So, folks, let me ask you a question. Do you feel that generation Y and Z have a certain entitlement? Do you think that they feel entitled? That's been a conversation that's been going on for a few years now.
Yeah.
Are they entitled? Do they feel entitled? Do you think they feel entitled? They are just worthy of whatever it is that they want, that they should have, that they should be given.
Yep.
Not saying they're getting, but do you feel? How do you feel about entitlement? So I'll tell you what. Think about that, and I'd love to see your responses. Thank you so much this morning for all of the participation that's in the room in our chat boards this morning. It's very cool to see, and thank you for that. It's a good conversation because nobody's shoving anything down anybody's throats. This is what your beliefs are, and that's okay. You're welcome to your beliefs. I enjoy a good, healthy debate. And if you disagree, well, then I believe we can all play in a sandbox. So we'll be back in just a second. Take a look at take a listen to our sponsors, because these are the people that allow us to do to do sports and to do bring you news on a daily basis. So patronize them as you will. I don't know how they identify them. It's SNSN.
Don't just wish for a winning deal. Make it Dish. It will make it real. Don't just wish. Make it Dish. Hey everyone, this is Ellis Dish from Dish Motors. We're back better than ever with our new sales and service center on Route 32 in North Franklin. Everyone says there's nothing better than dealing with the dishes, and here's why. Selection. We have the area's largest inventory of off-lease, one-owner vehicles of all makes and models. You name it, we got it, or I'll get it for you at no additional charge. Quality. Each vehicle goes through a rigorous 120-point safety and quality check. Nothing leaves the lot without my personal approval. Convenience. We have financing sources for almost any situation. We offer on-site registration processing, and we have maintenance programs for years of stress-free ownership. And now open for all your maintenance needs. Our full-service repair facility, where oil changes start at just $19.99. Call today for your appointment or just stop by. So save thousands and deal with the dishes. Route 32, North Franklin. Or check us out online at dishfranklin.com. Or ring us, 860-383-4750.
Hello, Hello, I'm Miranda Mahoney, Project Coordinator of Grizzle Pride, your drug-free community coalition. We want to help you keep your kids safe during this challenging time. Social distancing is still in effect, and so is the social host law. Reports are coming in that teens are contracting the virus at underage drinking parties. Parents, allowing underage drinking on your property could land you in jail for up to a year, plus fines. Another reason why you should not provide alcohol to our youth. For more info, go to grizzlepride.org. grizzlepride.org. grizzlepride.org.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
We are the future. Griswold Parks and Rec is a parent's one-stop source for all things fun. Town events, sports, fitness, and enrichment for all ages. We love our residents. Let us prove it. Go to griswoldrec.org.
You buy better. Better with Burns. Much better. So much better with Burns. Right insurance at the right price. You buy better with Burns. You buy better. Burns, you buy better.
When was the last time you considered the benefits of having all your insurance handled in one place? One number to call, a licensed account manager dedicated to your policies, discounts for having your policies with one company. The list goes on. Did you know the Burns Agency has a team dedicated specifically to home, auto, umbrella, flood, life insurance, business insurance, including workers' comp and professional policies? We do it all. Call, email, chat us online today. Experience the products and service our loyal customers receive and appreciate. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1932.
Better. Better with Burns. Much better. So much better with Burns. Right insurance at the right price. You buy better with Burns. You buy better with Burns. You buy better.
All right, let's take a look at the forecast right now. Here is Paul Lalash.
Good morning, everybody. Right now, the temperature downtown Jude City is 52 degrees. However, today will be cloudy with occasional showers this afternoon. Highs will be around 61 degrees. But tonight, rain likely, lows around 51. For your Thursday, well, it's going to be cloudy with rain ending in the afternoon. Highs will be about 53 degrees. And of course, for your Thursday evening, partly cloudy skies, lows around 27 degrees. And that's your weather from SNSN on this last day of March 03/31. 2021.
Don't get better than that. SNSN Radio. SNSN Radio.
Yesterday's best rock today.
Downright awesome. I mean, that's lack of better word.
Long live rock.
Man, good morning. Welcome back to the show. We've had a very good discussion this morning, Paul.
I know.
You know?
Yeah. I got to get some Spanx. Now we got the camera out here. I got to get some Spanx. You know, I got to be like a star and get rid of this stomach.
So I'm going to get right into a comment from Stan.
Uh-oh.
And Stan is belongs more to your generation, I would believe.
Okay.
Said they never had to work for anything. They grew up in the good years and their parents had disposable income. I'm a boomer and remember walking around Jewett City looking for 2-cent soda bottles to cash in. Back then, stuff was cheap. I had a paper route. I had a paper route too. I sold night crawlers that I picked for free. X and Y was pretty much given everything for free. Big difference when you have to make your way. My folks didn't have the disposable income that I had. That's a great point. My folks didn't have disposable income. Did we have dinner every night? Yes. So I'm not going to say that, you know, we went wanting for that. Did we have a home with heat? Yes. And my parents always provided, but there wasn't always something, you know, extra. You know, we hardly went on vacations.
Right.
You know, we really didn't. If we did anything, we went camping for a weekend, you know, which really didn't cost a whole lot of money. My dad never had a new car. My mother didn't get a new car until I think I was like 15. That was the only new car.
Yeah.
No, they got one more after that, but that was it.
Yeah.
I had a paper route myself, which was a Sunday paper route, but whatever. during the wintertime, I went out there. How many kids you see out there shoveling anymore? Going door to door, trying to make a few bucks. I couldn't wait till it snowed because I knew that I was going to go out and make some money. I can remember being 11 years old.
Yeah.
And going out and shoveling. And my mother would say, Mike, it's snowing. Is there a lot? Yeah. All right. I literally put my stuff on, got my shovel, and went outside. Now, in 1975, if you walked home with $25, you made bank.
Oh, yeah.
That was bank.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on, you could fill your gas tank up for $5, remember?
Yeah. The average paycheck was, I mean, thinking back then,
Yeah.
Was probably $150 a week. Think about it.
Yeah. I remember coming back with $25, $30, $35, $40, literally sometimes.
Yeah.
I hustled and worked my butt off.
I remember going to work,
but still
going to work for Eversource in 1974 for $130 a week.
I've tried to get kids out shoveling. No, I'm not even going outside. It's snowing out. It's too cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today you can't.
All right.
Today you can't even get the kids to go outside and shovel the damn snow for you. They live at home, and you got to go out and do it. They've got to sit in there and sit on their damn computer playing computer games rather than go out and help you shovel snow. You're out there doing it yourself. That's the way it is.
We did it, but the generation today, they do not. No. They expect somebody else to do it for them.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true. That's just the way it is today, And whose problem is that? It's the problem. It's been our problem because we let them get away with it.
Yeah.
Joanne
says, now that she's woken up, Joanne, did you have your cup of coffee yet? Are you good? I try to be respectful of everyone, and I would just call them by their name, which is what we talked about as well. Yeah. I don't expect anyone to call me Straight Joanne. Hello, Straight Joanne. A lot of people, but not most, might want to be called by a pronoun. But I find this very confusing because I think because our generation didn't grow up with that. So, of course, it's confusing. It confuses me too, Joanne.
Right.
I will call you anything you want, but if it's too weird, I won't go near you again with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, well.
Laura says, parents who raise their kids by giving into everything they ask for and want to make their kids happy. We as parents are supposed to set the example and stop worrying about being their friend and giving into their wants. Hard work pays off. That seems to have been a lost in the last few years. That is I agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I do think that I think there's good character that comes out of hard work.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, or if you refuse, then what?
Right.
Oh, hold on.
Uh-oh.
This is an important call. Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Do you like your text messages?
It's my little girl. I don't know.
I told you were gonna get annoyed.
See, there she is. You can see her. That's Rihanna. You can see her on the Facebook stream. So you're on live with us. Guess what we're talking about this morning?
What are you talking about this morning?
You really want to know? We're talking about being gender specific, and yeah. Look at that face. Whoa. See? Talking about pronouns. I talked about Zen.
Really?
I did. Talked about you. This is an actual FaceTime call, folks. I mean, this is not a joke.
Yeah.
We talked about you and how you do your thing. And I think sometimes, kids your age don't understand us, but you want us to understand you. What do you think? What do you think about that?
I'm not.
You don't know? Don't care?
I'm still smiling. I care. Oh my god.
She's all happy because of what we talked about earlier about her girlfriend is apparently now her boyfriend because now Zen is now identifying as male. So, and she's very look at her smile, and she's all happy about that.
Not
now I asked her, I said, "Are you gay anymore?" What does that make you? She goes, "I don't know. I'll figure."
I don't know, but like I don't care. I'll go with the flow. You know, that's what I'm thinking.
See, well, what did I say to you? I said,
Like humans.
"What?
That's what I'm saying.
What did I say?"
Just like humans.
Yeah. So I told her. I said, "Just start as humans,
Yeah.
and go from there."
Yeah.
Are we gonna go get pierogies today?
Duh.
We're Polish.
Uh,
We're gonna get pierogies from a Chinese place.
Okay,
Wow.
what time are you planning on coming?
I'll call you after my show, but I already told you. I just don't want to say it on the air.
I know because
I know we got things going on today. So let me.
it's my session.
I know. Well, let's not talk about that on the air.
I don't care.
Well, I do. I think that's something that we need to keep private. I'll call you as soon as I'm done with my show. All right. I love you, you little human. I'll talk to you in a bit.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. She's so happy. Look at that. Oh my God. She's so. Oh, you missed it.
Yeah.
She's very proud of Zen.
Oh.
She's very proud of Zen.
But I guess my question is,
And I am too, because
but what made Zen, is that his name Zen or
Yeah.
her name?
Yeah.
What made Zen now consider herself to be a transgender and identify herself as a
well,
male?
I mean,
What caused that to happen?
I don't know. I mean,
Is that just something?
her own makeup. I don't know. You know,
Well,
it's she feels more like a boy than she does a girl, I guess. I mean, I guess I can't describe that because I don't have that. Like I don't identify as a girl, so I don't know what it would take to make that decision.
I mean, you just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be a
No, I
boy
don't
or girl.
know. No, ever since I've known Zen, Zen definitely identifies or acts more masculine than feminine.
Well, that you do see that in
Yeah.
some common lesbian relationships that some females do act more like they have more male,
Yeah.
reactions to how they react to things.
Bruce Jenner changed from a man to a lady, but dates women. So is she a lesbian? Yes, I would say yes, because Bruce Jenner or Kaylee, what is it?
I don't know.
Is now a female, is no longer male. The male part of this person's life is gone.
But he hasn't really had any operation, did he? I don't think he's had the operation.
I don't know. And I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I'm not finding people how they identify, but what's in their drawers.
Yeah.
It's what their outer appearance is.
Yeah. I don't
That's
know.
me, though.
That's
I mean,
I don't understand. I don't have enough background to understand that philosophy and how it all works. And at this point in my life, I
you
really
know
don't
why?
care.
Because you're not transgender. You're not part of that
I'm not.
society.
I really don't
Right.
care because it doesn't bother me what they do. I don't care.
I don't want to go as far as saying I don't care because I do care.
Yeah.
I care about people in general.
Well,
And I know you do too.
Don't take like I don't care if I don't care. I just don't care
No.
what they do.
Right.
If you want to be whatever you want to be, that's fine. I don't really care. It's no impact on me whatsoever.
So,
But what scares me the most is that are some kids, because of what's around them, because there's so much of this pronoun stuff and being identified as a male or female, are these kids, are they mature enough to make that decision to say, oh, today I'm a boy, so today I'm going to be a female? And is it the pressure around them that making them say that? Or is it reality saying, Yeah, I
Mhm.
am a male or a female. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's the other thing that can happen when you got all this stuff going around you.
Well, I'll tell you with Rihanna, for example.
Yeah.
And the only reason I mention is because she's very open.
Yeah.
You know, about who she is.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy for I'm thrilled for her that she came out at such an age that, you know, early enough so she can live the life and not have as much maybe confusion, you know, in her world. So for example, we were in a swimming pool, just her and I, and we were talking. And you know how when you ask your kid a question, you know how they're either telling the truth, they're being straight up, or they're kind of uh
Yeah.
pulling a little the wool over your eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
I can kind of tell that with Rihanna. And I asked her, I said, so tell me. I said, when did you know you were gay? She goes, sixth grade. Boom, that was it. That was it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. There was no thinking about it. It was like sixth grade.
Wow.
She knew. And that was it. And ever since she came out, she's been so much happier.
Yeah.
She really has.
Well, it's a lot easier today
I
for
just wanted to be
people
happy.
who identify themselves that way to come out now compared to 30 years ago. Because 30 years ago, if you did that,
Oh,
yeah, it was.
And I lived that world too because my mother was a lesbian.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all it was, in my family. It was, I mean, I didn't know anything. I didn't know any different.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
is that where you were going at?
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my mother was in a relationship with another woman for over 30 years until she died.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't know. I have I have an uncle that's gay. That's all I knew. Didn't make him any less my uncle.
Right.
Still my Uncle Danny.
Yeah.
You know. We stayed at his, I stayed at his house some weekends, and go to Rocky Point or whatever because he lived in Cranston.
Yeah.
So it's I didn't grow up really knowing the difference.
Yeah.
And this was during a time where, as you were saying, it wasn't acceptable.
Was not
Or
acceptable.
it wasn't accepted in society as a whole.
Not, you're right.
Now, if you don't accept it, you're on the outside.
Correct. Exactly.
So now let's put a little theology in this. Stan goes, I trust in the power of the Lord. I think he knew what he was doing and shouldn't be second guessed. So now there's that theory as well, that thought process. This is this gentleman's faith.
Yeah.
Are you going to question the man's faith? No.
No.
It's what he believes. I had a conversation with my dad, who's a devout Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm 78 years old. He is Catholic, and you're not going to change him. You're not going to change anything about him as far as his belief system is concerned. And would never try to change him. But he has a certain way of thinking. And I said to him one day, I said, Pop, I said, what happens that when you pass on? So you go up to the pearly gates, and there's no Peter there. There's no pearly gates, but there's some guy named Aknad. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, well, no, just hold up. I said, just what if? What if? I said, there's over 1,000 religions out there, Dad. So I said, who's right? Well, I'm right. Okay. That's your faith. And I said, I'm not going to question your faith. I said, but what if you're not right? Are you going to hell? Oh, I'm right. Doesn't matter. I said, Dad, I'm not questioning your faith. I'm just asking you, what if? I don't care. And that's okay. So I left it at that. So my point is that your faith is your faith. Just like this gentleman here. He has his faith. I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to challenge it. Everybody is they're worthy of their own faith and what they believe.
Sure. Comes Jim.
That's not Jim.
No, it's not.
It's not Jim.
No.
It's not at all. Matter of fact, it's probably E. Oh, it is Jim. I thought you were somebody else.
No, Jim, because I saw Jim's cargo, but
Oh, that's why.
That's why I was looking.
Okay.
Looks like Jim went to Lowe's.
Bryant says 30 years ago we were talking about homosexuality not being accepted,
Right.
in general society. He goes, "How about 10 years ago?" I said, "It's probably true."
Yeah.
It's
It's over the last 4 or 5 years that it's starting to really.
Yeah.
So.
So this conversation goes many different ways. It's not just about what you believe and I believe. It brings in your faith system as well.
Right.
How were you growing up? I grew up Catholic. Do I practice Catholicism today? No. There's some things about Catholicism that I don't agree with. Do I have other faith? Yes. It's not important.
Right.
As far as, this conversation is concerned, but I do. Am I wrong?
No.
I'm sure you you have your own faith.
Yeah.
Are you wrong? No.
No.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
It's like your beliefs. Are you wrong?
Yeah.
To you, you're right.
Right.
But be sensitive to people that don't agree with you. That's the biggest problem. This is why you have fighting on the Gaza Strip for 2,000 years, because they can't figure it out that you can all get along.
Right. Oh. Uh-oh. Got Jim confused. Doesn't know what we're talking about.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Right. Okay. When I was, I'm a little older than Paul, but not much. Because he was here for the Civil War. I was here for the Revolutionary War. You weren't even here for the Korean War.
No.
But,
not even the Vietnamese, not even the Vietnam War.
Jesus. I recall as a youngster, I think it was Thursday. If you wore yellow on Thursday, it meant you were of a different persuasion.
Got it.
I don't know if you ever heard that. Or not.
No.
You remember that, Paul? No. Yeah. Well, maybe some other old timer like Ed Burke, if he's listening, can can substantiate that.
But I'll tell you one thing. The one thing when I got my earring, which was probably
Is it the right ear or the left ear?
no,
See?
That's what I mean.
All right.
When-
I knew where you were going. So.
When I got my earring, which has been probably a good 10 to 15 years when I got this earring, and I was always told to make sure it was lefty, righty, wrongy.
Yeah.
So my earring is in my
lefty, righty,
righty, wrongy.
wrongy.
Right. And my earring is in my left ear because if it was in your right ear, you were considered to be gay.
Uh-huh.
But now everybody wears two earrings. So what the hell's the difference?
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it was. That was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter's like in her 50s, okay. But I see these young ladies today, and occasionally a young man even, and they got these little rings pierced in their eyebrows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They got it in their nose.
Yeah.
Their tongue.
Why? What is the symbolism, or what is
Fashion. Fashion.
Yeah. A lot of them get into belly buttons too.
Yeah.
Which takes months to heal. Once you get it, it's taking like 6 months for you.
I got a belly button ring once.
Did you?
It's a hula hoop. That's how big it was. Let's see. Kelly says, doesn't matter as long as you're true to yourself, color or same sex, or who cares as long as you live and are happy. Years ago, if you were poor, you got picked on. Who cares if they're even poor?
Or if
that is true.
If you were thin like I was. I graduated from high school at
Slim Jim
at 118 pounds.
You know what my nickname was when I grew up? Stick.
My dad is slim.
Yeah, it was Stick. Same thing, because you were thin. And
were you
people
Slim
made
Jim?
funny.
No, I had a lot of other derogatory nicknames.
But that's
that showed
when you were
you,
skinny like that. That's what they.
Come on in. Oh no, leave that out there though, because that stuff. Because if the people around, that are on the show I know one's watching right now, we can't let them know what the wine is. You got a minute? Yeah. Come on in, have a seat. We're live right now.
Great. It's 100 degrees out.
Is it really?
It's like 58. It's warm.
So you like the warm weather, then I take it.
My car said 58.
Your car's wrong.
You insensitive bastard. All right. So, Elaine, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, everyone.
So,
Good morning.
Welcome.
I'm Jim because they have so little couth they don't even bother to introduce.
I didn't get a
strangers,
chance.
okay?
I didn't get a chance. That's Jim, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Jim.
This is
What is
Paul.
it, Elaine.
Elaine, yes.
Nice
yes.
to meet you.
So we're doing a podcast. We've already put one episode in the bucket already. Now we have another one that we're doing tomorrow. And Elaine is helping us out with the wines because this is the business that she works in.
Oh, so she's a wine connoisseur, huh?
Well, what do you do? Tell me.
Yes, wine and spirits and some seltzers now. Yeah.
Well, occasionally I used to buy that high quality wine.
Mad Dog 2020.
Silver satin.
I don't know if that exists anymore.
It probably
Silver Oaks.
doesn't.
Silver Oaks.
So you just so you work for what distributor?
Connecticut Distributors.
Connecticut Distributors.
Yes.
So, and she's just dropped off
Some
the
nice
wine of
samples, like 3 different wines for everybody to try. Nice summer light wines, crisp,
So,
easy drinking.
so we're gonna check them out tomorrow. Actually, I won't. The 3 ladies that do the show will. But we every person I share the episode with, they say it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It really is. I think it's, and I'm not tooting my own horn because I didn't write it. It's really all improv and that kind of stuff.
Right. Are they tasting the wine and actually like trying to describe what they're tasting
Yes.
and what they're smelling? So
Exactly.
So I always like to use the analogy that, it's like tasting a Whopper at Burger King. Like, what are you tasting? I have no
That's
flipping
morbid.
clue. All right. Years ago, they're not as good as they used to be. All
What is
right.
it? What is it? TVP or something? Textured vegetable protein? Is that?
There you go. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, is that the anytime
Substitute.
Whopper or whatever it is?
I don't know. That's a substitute for meat products, I guess, to some degree, especially in vegetarians' lives.
What is it? The Impossible Whopper, as they call
The Impossible Whopper?
it. Yeah, the plant-based one. Is that what we're talking about, or I totally missed?
I don't
No, we were describing what the taste profile of a Whopper would be like.
Oh.
It would be very hard because we don't taste, we eat it. We don't think about what we're tasting.
Oh no,
That's true.
I just
We
inhale
right?
it pretty much.
Exactly. So in wine, we're trying to decide and decipher what we're tasting and what we're smelling at the same time, and we're not accustomed to doing that.
Now, how long have you been in this business?
20 years.
20 years.
I worked for Gallo for 20 years. I'm taking on a new career. April 1, that's tomorrow.
Oh,
yes.
April Fools!
I know.
Which I'll
That's
tell
kinda
you.
scary.
I don't know if I would start a new job on April 1st.
I know. I think we'll wait till Friday.
Well, you're not suspicious.
My ex-sister-in-law is born on April 1st. I used to call her the original April Fool.
Nice.
She knew I was kidding.
Uh,
So anyway, she worked for Gallo.
yes.
Well, I mean, how did that happen? I mean, in California?
No, I've been to California. I go every 2 years, I think, year and a half. Yep. So I actually just worked for the division that works for Gallo for 20 years.
Okay.
So strictly just Gallo, Barefoot, Whitehaven, some of the wines you're tasting tomorrow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
High Noon Seltzer, that's a new one. That's
Yep.
like, thanks to COVID, we had a aluminum shortage, so there was no High Noon. It caused
What's
a
the
frenzy out
seltzer
there.
thing? What's the whole the seltzer craze? I don't like them.
It's low calorie. It's it's a
Is it
buzz
Truvia or Trulia or something like that?
Well,
or-
Truly is a malt based, and then you have High Noon, which is a vodka based. And what it is, it's low calorie, and it's a buzz maintainer all day. So you can drink and drink all day and just be happy and not be
Oh.
fall down drunk.
Kind of like Zima.
Oh, those come out periodically.
Now, did you say something about an aluminum shortage?
Yeah, there was an aluminum shortage last year because of COVID. People were buying so much booze that they just couldn't keep up with it. And then, of course, we weren't taking any aluminum back. So, it caused a real debunk in the seltzer category. A lot of
Yeah.
shortages out there.
Oh, I thought
I didn't even realize that.
I thought maybe the aluminum was because of it being used as an adjuvant in vaccines and with the COVID.
Oh my
craziness.
God.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I think that's up for discussion. There's a lot of stories out there with that whole nonsense. Right?
I think so.
Another one
I
that
think
believes
so.
it's total nonsense.
Be careful, Jim. You know,
All right, we're not going
No,
down that
listen,
rabbit
I
hole
know.
today.
I don't want to go there either. Yeah,
No.
stay clear of it.
See, I love bringing them down these twisty trails.
Yeah. Well, no,
Right.
that one we're not going down because then Jim starts dropping F-bombs and stuff.
I like that. I like that, Jim.
Only once in 5 years, Mike.
I know.
Once in 5
One
years.
F-bomb. I think I've dropped more F-bombs than you.
I'm sure you have.
I was
You're-
interviewing somebody the other day for a job, and I couldn't get my iPad to work, the volume, and I'm like saying a few choice words. There's no volume working, and there's 3 other people on the Skype call, and I shut it down, and I'm trying to turn it on. I'm like, this effing thing is not working. Well, guess what? It
Wasn't
chose to
working.
work. It chose to work. Yeah, that was nice getting on. My HR ladies texted me at the same time going, Elaine, that was a doozy. I said, absolutely. One way to start the interview. Okay.
Well,
We are not HR compliant.
fun place to work.
Yeah, right. We're
What the-
transparent, that's for
In
sure.
What compliance?
HR.
Oh, HR. Okay.
Well, you
Not
know,
HR.
in today's world, just like any other word,
I think so too, but is it
Yeah.
really professional to
not
no F-bombs?
professional now, but eventually, I'm sure it will be.
Right, everything, yeah.
Everything is F-bomb.
I don't know. As soon as you can go to your pastor and say, "Hey, what the f are you doing?" You know, and then if he or she looks back at you and goes, "Hey, I'm having a great effing day,"
Well,
then
don't be
we'll
too
talk
surprised because
about
I'm
it being
sure
acceptable.
they're using it as well.
Well, I don't need to know that.
No, you don't.
Come on, and that bursts the entire bubble, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have huge faith, you know. I mean, I'm not a big churchgoer or anything like that, but I still think there are, you know. I mean, I don't go to a police officer and say, you know, "Hey, how the f are you doing?" You know, well, maybe if he or she was off duty, yeah, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier that you disagreed with a few things in the Catholic faith. I'm curious as to. I mean, I'm not Catholic. I've raised Protestant, and
I have a hard time going to a church that has a bunch of priests that have been either arrested or kicked out of the profession for molesting young boys. You know, and then they still carry on and wondering why it's still a thing. I can understand having your Catholic faith and what it says, you know, in the Bible, or what you believe what the Bible is teaching. However, when you have people leading that organization that are rapists, I don't get it. I don't want to be a part of it.
yeah, I actually had a very, very good friend who we believe his son was molested by the local parish priest.
What was that movie, Spotlight? It was all about.
But I mean, I'm not.
the
And
uncover-
I'm not
no. I'm being. You know, no, I get it. I know what
I'm
you're
not, I
asking.
mean, I'm not picking on the Catholic religion because we got
No,
the same
neither
problem.
am
I don't
I.
care
I just-
wherever you are, you got the same problem.
You know.
I mean, look at this. What the hell's the guy's name?
Hey, look, you can disagree and play in the same sandbox. I've said that a million times.
Yeah.
You know, I also don't agree. This is one thing I don't agree with, is that I can go out and do something that is incredibly bad, morally bad, and then go to into a little box on a Saturday and say I'm sorry, and then I'm just, you know, forgiven for everything that I've done. Yet I'm going to do 5 to 10, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm okay, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I work.
I don't understand it. Does that make any sense? What do you think?
I
It's like,
don't
ah,
know.
crap.
I don't know.
She doesn't want to get exposed here.
No, it's just my opinion, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
I
know.
I don't crap on anybody else's opinion. It's just mine.
I mean,
Just don't crap on mine.
I worked with a guy, and he was a deacon in the church and everything else.
Mhm.
And on Sunday he was holier than thou, and the rest of the week
Not so much.
not so much. And I confronted him with it one day. He didn't like it, but
Yeah, I don't have any problem with anybody with their own faith, their own beliefs. That's theirs. Just don't shove it down my throat.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
And that was the whole thing with
this
me
is what we do, Elaine.
many years
I
ago.
see.
Many years ago, as far as the gay life was concerned.
That's been our whole conversation today.
You know, you're entitled to
Sure.
whatever, but don't throw it, don't jam it down somebody else's throat.
So since you're here, I'm going to ask you, how do you identify?
Well, you know what? I think we have certain parts that we identify with, and I think that's just crazy what we're saying to our children right now, not to identify as a woman or a girl or a boy, and then you can decide when you're 18. It's just rubbish, you know. But you know, if you look at your children and you see what they're exposed to, like TikTok and stuff like
Mhm.
that, they really have a warped sense of right and wrong from what my beliefs are. And
Sure.
I have
Yeah.
twin 13-year-olds, and I talking about like what was that? Men identifying as women playing in women's sports. I don't agree with that. You know, who's that WW wrestler that is a man identifying as woman and beating it in everybody's heads? My daughter was telling me about it, and I was like, well, that's kind of screwed up. My 13-year-old said, Mom, I don't really care. I said, yeah, you should care. That person is physically going to kick the shit out of you. You should
Mhm.
care.
Yeah.
But she's
Th-
13 and she's being taught a different way.
But you know, Elaine, I get that same response from fully grown adults that are close to my age. I don't care. I can't do anything about it.
But we need to do something
Yeah,
about it.
absolutely.
And we see governors across the United States actually changing their laws within their state. You know, it's a sad day when your president wants to identify with something that's just so is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think the everyday average person says, "Hey, you know what? I embrace everybody," and I think that's how we were taught in our generations. You know, and our generation, like our younger kid generation, they're not being taught that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we said. And there
It's
are
exactly what
there
we're
are
talking about.
governors. As a matter of fact, it was just the governor news the other day that said no male will participate in a female sport.
No, there's a lot of them. There's a
A
lot
lot
of
of them
them.
that change and say, "Screw you, Biden. This is what we're doing."
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
No, you have to protect your people, and I think it started here in Connecticut with the
Yeah.
soccer, right? And that's
That
wasn't it soccer?
track.
Something about
It
that?
was track. There was some
Oh,
girls.
track.
There were some
yes.
girls that got pushed out of like some state opportunities, and they weren't able to compete
Right.
because there were, I think it was 2 or 3 boys that identify as female that got those spots.
But you know, the flip side of all that, and to debate it, would be look at women or young girls playing on boy sports. I don't believe that should happen
Mhm.
either. I think you just need to keep them separate. You know, you see little girls wrestling young boys. It's just not appropriate. The boy will throw up the flag and say, I'm forfeiting because they don't want to wrestle a young woman. They're put in positions that they shouldn't be put in. Let's keep it separate. You want to play baseball? Let's start a baseball women's league. You know,
Yep.
so we're bitching on one side, but we're saying it's okay on the other. So I think to have a level playing field, let's just keep it the way it was meant to be. That's just my beliefs, and it's nice to be able to debate something like this and not be crucified. You know,
There used to be a women's baseball league. What happened to it? I'll tell you
Uh,
what happened to it. Went out of business. You know
because
why?
because nobody likes to watch women's sports. Women's sports are not considered
Money.
money, and
And
that's
there
what,
again, we
and
come
that's
back.
exactly what happened with the NCAA's this year. Okay,
Yeah.
because if you notice when they all went down to Texas,
Mhm.
the men got treated much
Like
better,
gold.
like gold. There were lots of pictures of the men's games on social media, and the reason they said for it because of the money. And the females got screwed. Okay, so finally, Dick's finally stepped up and brought in everything they needed for the women to start working out and everything else. But that's what happened. I mean, the NCAA dropped the ball on that one, man. At a time of this time.
but if we look at like women's sports like baseball and softball, look at softball. They do an amazing job.
Oh, they
Women
do.
an amazing job, and
Yeah.
it's really they've kind of like put their footprint out there now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the reach is for them as far as television reach and whatnot, and how many people are watching.
Well, I
them.
mean, you get some collegiate softball games on ESPN like 2 or something like that. But here's the issue, and Paul, you said it. It's sponsorship money. It's national sponsorship money. The NCAA men's tournament brings in millions and millions and millions of dollars, where the women's does not.
Right.
You know, it's kind of it's almost like, well, if you advertise on the guys here, you know, $500,000 a spot, we'll throw in the women's games for free. But here's the other thing too, and this is something that you had said a while ago. Is I was talking to Melissa, and you know, we were talking about,
what pro athletes make and everything. She mentioned the Connecticut Sun. And I said, they don't make as much money as you think that they do. And she goes, well, what do you mean? Well, the guys make. And I said, right. I said, but these girls are only making 50.
No, some of them,
If that.
they're a couple hundred now.
Okay, well, but
They're up there.
last time we talked,
But they just went through a whole thing to get more money.
Yeah.
That's why they go overseas.
Right.
They're paid big bucks overseas.
but they have other jobs too.
Well, look
Some
at
of
the
'em.
Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. We can go all day on this because they make like $20,000, but the
Sure.
football players are making millions on millions on millions. And how is that a level playing field?
Well, here's a potential solution to that problem. There's actually more women in the country than there are men. Okay,
That's why I'm single. Thanks for letting me know that.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
And here's the thing,
And she likes her wine, boys.
Right. we have all kinds of groups that are boycotting all kinds of things. Now, if women decided we are not going to support anyone who is supporting men's sports and not women's sports, man, would that flip around
Never
in
happened.
a month?
Ain't gonna happen.
Never
Well,
happened.
okay, but that's because they won't get their power together like they did many, many years ago when they started to take and demand equal pay for equal work, which is still not quite there, but at least they've made a lot of progress.
Yeah, I think in this.
Well, guys, I have to pop off because I have to go to work.
right.
All right. High five. That was fun,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thanks,
Nice
Elaine.
meeting you. Say hi to me when you see me on the street.
I will.
You tell your bosses you are working. You're
Say
promoting the
I am the
product
boss.
right now.
I have to go to work. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Take it easy. She brought nice bottles of wine for our show tomorrow.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah,
Well, you said Jim went to Lowe's. You're right. I went to Lowe's.
I did. When did I say that?
When I walked in,
I
you
did.
saw this.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did. Okay. So we bought a new gas stove,
Okay.
and we don't have natural gas running by the house, so I have to convert it to propane. I have two little tiny brass. Actually, it's one little tiny brass piece. Okay, to do this conversion. That was $57. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a diverter for my shower. It was 45. A little piece like that.
Yeah.
And it's the only piece that was even over $10. Everything else was $8, $7. Anything else for like a tub or whatever. Now the diverter is 45. Because it's the most important piece. Let you know what's hot and what's cold.
I don't know what to tell you.
Boy, we have gone nuts this morning.
I know it. Now you probably
Well,
lost
that's because I
it.
stopped in. That usually
No,
that usually disrupts things.
Nah.
No, we started really early too. So, but I think
What's really, really early?
Hmm?
What's really, really
well
early?
for us, I don't know, we started right at 8:00.
Yeah.
We've been on right at 8:00 this morning.
Mhm.
Just yipping and yapping. We've pretty much talked about a
think-
little bit of cancel culture, gender equality or inequality. One of the big things that we are facing today as a society is a lot of the kids and in the younger, or Y and Z generations, Y and Z, like to identify people as whether or not you're a he, she, him, or her. Because I had somebody ask me, "What was your pronoun?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What is my pronoun?" So bottom line is I don't care. You guys, you can have the way you think is the way you think. It's not up for, I don't think, any of us to tell you that you're wrong, because this world was built on change, was it not? Things change all the time.
Well, I had somebody tell me I was wrong just yesterday, actually.
Why?
Why? Because I was having a discussion about the stupidity of cutting all the trees down along the highway. Okay.
See, I don't think you're ever wrong about your opinion, but if you start trying to think you're spewing facts about something, something about in the past or history or whatever, and you're wrong, well, then, I mean, you're incorrect. Then you can be called out. But if you're talking about your opinion, that's a different story.
Well, I usually have scientific information to back up my
Mhm.
opinions,
Well,
Mike, as you well know.
what you
You're an avid reader.
what you came out was what you really said was the reason why the trees were put there years ago. That's why the trees were put there, to absorb the carbon dioxide coming off the highway. But now, since we've had some storms and there have been a few deaths as a result of trees falling on cars, that turned it all around. That's the
Well-
reason why now they're cutting down the trees.
So we have one branch of government, and I was going to get into this on a program one of these days, and I'll touch upon it this morning. We have one branch that's claiming global warming. The president wants to institute carbon taxes again and all this stuff. Okay, so we have one branch of government that wants to control carbon dioxide, not monoxide, carbon dioxide. Okay, CO2. And on the other hand, we have people down here who are another branch of government that is cutting all the trees down, which converts carbon dioxide back to carbon and oxygen. Okay. Without carbon dioxide, there is no life on Earth. Simple, plain scientific fact.
And if you ever rode down a highway in the fall, you would always notice that the trees along the highway would be changing color much quicker than the trees that were set back and as a result of what Jim is saying. But I know there have been some real serious people have gotten killed in the state of Connecticut as a result of trees falling on cars by there was a storm.
How many people have been killed by trees?
I don't think
falling?
I think it's only
a half
been
a dozen.
Yeah, if that.
Okay.
But they're doing that now.
Insignificant.
I know. But that's why they're cutting all the trees back.
Let's not allow people to cross the street, because more people get killed crossing the street than get killed from falling trees.
They're right at exit 85, or what is that, 22 now, whatever that exit. They're right down the street.
Yeah, right down the street.
They're doing it there now. Yeah. So
and we don't have enough money in the state to run the state efficiently, and we're spending probably millions of dollars cutting trees down.
Yeah.
That's absorbing the carbon dioxide and converting it back to oxygen and carbon.
Yeah. But that's been going on now for last year or so.
Yeah.
More than that.
Well, more than that, Paul, because about 4 or 5 years ago, I took and did a calculation on how much carbon dioxide is being absorbed from an acre of forest land. I don't remember the numbers.
Because I remember driving up Route 2 going into Hartford, and the side in the middle of the median was loaded with trees. You know, now we drive up, it's bare. There's nothing there. All the trees are gone.
Okay, the trees can act as another thing in the wintertime too. They help to keep the drifts from piling up on the highways, because they break up the flow of snow across the highways.
Yeah, that's true too. So, but
I mean, the point I'm really making is the stupidity of government, which I preach on all the time.
Yeah. But that's what's happening. That's what they're doing. Somebody made the decision. That's what they're going to do. I mean, I can understand if you go down to Merritt. I don't know if people have driven to Merritt. If you've driven to Merritt,
Oh yeah, Route 15.
Yeah, I mean that. There, the trees are right up on the side of the street.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, more so when you get towards the southern part of the state, like past Orange.
Yeah.
You get into like Stamford, not Stanwell, Stanford.
Yeah.
But not so much in, say, well, I don't know, Wallingford. I think it kind of starts really. Not really Meriden as much, more Wallingford, North Haven.
But that's a lot of the trees that fell on the
Hamden.
cars was on the Merritt Highway.
Well, let me suggest this, and you probably can make it support or tell me I'm full of the what.
No.
Well,
It's not that.
And that is, don't we have more deaths caused by trees falling on power lines? Shouldn't we worry more about cutting trees down that are dead that are going to fall on power lines?
Well, yeah, which they're doing, I understand right now.
They've been doing that for the last few years as well.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the power outages happen, because of trees. And a lot of people, and the reason for it is a lot of people won't let people cut down trees in their yard.
And they're burning a lot of the dead trees as well in the forest.
Well, I mean, I have 2 or 3 dead trees, big oaks right across the street from ours, and there's a 3-phase line running right by there.
I'm surprised
those trees have been dead for 2 or 3 years.
I'm surprised nobody's cut them. Yeah.
All right, dude. I think we've had enough for the day.
I guess so.
I
think
can't
so,
believe
too.
that. Is it 10 o'clock already?
Yeah, it's close enough. We got to catch up on news, and we got a couple of spots to catch up on, and a whole bunch of other things. So, Time Travel Thursday tomorrow.
I hear that. Yeah.
What's that?
Time Travel Thursday tomorrow.
Time travel. Okay.
The time traveler will be on tomorrow. Yeah. Come in. You ought to come in and listen to him.
Don't be afraid of what you don't know.
You ought to come in and question him. Seriously.
Oh, this is the guy you mentioned last.
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
time
You
I
should
was
come in
there.
and question him.
He debunks everybody, man. I'm telling you.
You should come in.
Telling you every
Well-
time somebody comes in that is such a staunch disbeliever in this stuff.
Oh, I don't. What you
Yeah.
know, I don't disbelieve.
No, I
in it.
know, but this might be a conversation that you would enjoy.
I enjoy many conversations as long as they're civil. I'll talk on any
Oh,
subject.
this is civil,
Oh, it's simple.
and this is
I wasn't implying that it wasn't.
no, you'll get a kick out of
Yeah,
Joe.
You should question him.
What time is he in?
He'll be on virtually at 9 o'clock.
Okay. Come sit 9 o'clock. You can.
He's in Ohio.
Yeah.
So we have him. He's bopping around in time. And
So
finally stops to join the show, and he keeps going.
there you go. Talk to him.
What do time travelers do? Well, they travel.
This
What
week-
else?
This week's in Ohio.
I'm in Columbus yesterday. Let's have a time travel party last Thursday.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's
it-
fun, and I'll be honest with you, he talks about things that you're like, huh, I don't know. It's
Does
pretty
he-
believable.
Does he get into life after life or life after death?
He has.
Yeah.
He has.
I mean, haven't you ever been someplace and you said, "Jesus, I was here in an earlier life"?
Yeah, you get that feeling like, gee, that seemed like I was here before. This happened before. You know what I'm
But
saying?
like, is time travel really time? Because time, space, and dimension, are I'm not a believer that time is a linear thing. I believe it's more of everything's happening at the same time. So is time travel really moving up and down a timeline, or is it sliding in and out of different universes?
No, you're right.
Interesting. What's he saying?
I think he believes more it's sliding in and out of different universes. Instead of, because here's the thing, when he traveled back in time, as he states, there are some differences compared to what his timeline was. So now he's in a totally different timeline. It's not the same, like he says, George Floyd, that situation did not happen in his timeline. He said, and if it did, it was not a big deal, as far as national headlines or anything like that. So I think you would find him quite interesting.
Yeah, you want to come down because you have a lot of things to talk about and should question him.
Me, I don't have much to talk about. Paul.
But he'll be on tomorrow at 9.
Yeah.
So
Well,
So
we'll see how my schedule is.
all right, time travel Thursday tomorrow. Paul, thanks for coming in.
Yep.
Jim, thanks for coming in.
But you have the wine ladies tomorrow too. You said.
That's tomorrow night. That's a
Oh,
different. That's a different
at
thing
night.
altogether.
Oh, okay.
We'll be taping that tomorrow night. I got an interview to tape tonight at 7. So I'm all over the place. So I have another podcast, and it's on pro wrestling. So I interviewed a guy last week. This week I got another guy named Gilbert that'll be interviewing. So
Well, you mentioned to me a month or more ago about some guy you wanted to tie up. He and I
haven't done it yet. Just haven't had time.
We have time to do the things we want to do, Mike.
No, I have time to do the things that our people want to sponsor right now.
Well,
so
okay. Well, you never can tell.
that's why we have a distributor bringing us wine now. You know what I mean? So I mean that's a big difference. I would love to put you and Dan together and put you guys into a room and let you do it, but
lock us in.
the lockdown. Whoa.
There you go.
See, that happens. All right. Phil Michelle coming up at noon with live from the youth center. And then Angela comes back. Her voice is back and all. So 2 to 6 right here on SNSN. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the conversation, folks. It was really cool today. A lot of participation. Paul and I certainly appreciate it. Do we not, Paul?
Yeah.
All right. So watch for the word of the day. By the way, the word of the day is back with the Eastern Connecticut Savings Bank Big Y gift card giveaway. We have three more gift cards to give away. We'll be putting out a word today on the app. If you do not have our app, you better get it, because that's the only way you're going to get the word of the day. And make sure you enable notifications.
Do you have the app, Paul?
Yep.
Okay, I'll call you to find out what the word of the day is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't
Anybody
win.
here that is associated with SNSN Radio or Wolverine Media is not eligible for winning prizes in contests.
Oh,
on the air.
okay. I am disavowing my association with SNSN Radio because there is nothing more important than having $100 gift certificate to Big Wife so I can supply my family with the nutritional food that they need.
A smart ass. All right, we'll see you tomorrow for Time Traveler Thursday. Have a good day, everyone.
Here's a look at your local news headlines on SNSN. Griswold Selectmen discussed reopening town hall at the latest Board of Selectmen meeting last week. First Selectman Todd Babbitt mentioned that he wanted the reopening to align with orders that were put in place by Governor Ned Lamont and possibly open